So this is the backup camera that I got for Christmas. It's made by AI Products. It's called the Cab Cam, and that's the number right there for it. And we're going to be putting this in the skid steer. Comes with a 7-inch monitor and a camera that has night vision, and that's what I was wanting, so it turns to black and white at night and you can see behind you in the dark. So we're gonna get this out and get to putting it on. So I kind of did this a little backwards instead of showing the installation of the whole thing. So what I did is I ordered this bracket from Bobcat. You can find it online on their parts page. And I used 2 carriage bolts up here with some Loctite on these nuts. And then I got carriage bolts to fit these. And since this camera is a little bit deeper, I had to space this up a little bit. So I just got some little pipe, cut it off about 1 inch or ½ inch. I did some 1-inch ones and then ½ inch, and I like the ½ inch better. But it's pretty well protected from anything hitting it, covered on both sides. Then I drilled a hole here, and there's a rubber grommet that came with it, and put the wiring in there like that. I had modify this bracket just a little bit just to get it kind of where I wanted it. You don't necessarily have to, but I cut it down and took a little bit out and re-welded it down both sides, but you don't have to do that, but I did just so I wouldn't have to space this up as tall. This screw did strip off, so all I had for right now is this long screw here that was the same thread, so I had to put some spacers on it, so that's kind of just temporary for now. But like I said, I got all that fastened in. Need to cut these off still, but you can see my pipe, the washer, lock washers, and nylon lock nuts, and everything's in conduit. So I kind of just ran mine around, and this is where the camera connects to the camera cord. Ran it down here along this wiring harness down the tailgate, zip tied it on here, and just followed, you can't really see it, but followed this main wiring harness down past the hydraulic pump and then up around into the cab. So from there, I routed the harness up and around the main harness on the back of the cab, and then it goes in right here. I silicone this all up good, and then we'll get to putting the camera and the monitor in. So this is what it looks like after I've got it in. Fits up here nicely. It's a little bit above that, so you're not gonna be hitting your head on it, and it's just slightly up against that. It does pretty good on not rattling and making noise. There's no visible wires. Everything's all tucked in. Ran down behind here, down this side, and then connects back here to the factory plug. So the reason I did that is so you don't have to mess with turning it off and on every time you get in and out of the cab. You simply turn the key off, it goes off. Turn the key on, and it powers up itself. So overall, the visibility is really good on it. I wish it had a little bit wider of a FOV, but it'll do for the price of it. I think it was like $300 versus the factory one's like $1,200. So I've been pretty happy with it at this point. It works very well, a lot better than having to turn around constantly to look behind you. It also has a menu in it. You can do all kinds of different settings, and then it has backup guidelines if you want that, which I measured this off, and from the back of the skid steer to that first where it can see right here, the bottom is 4 foot. So this would be close to almost 6 foot out from behind you. So this is just slightly above the, if I angle the camera down just a little bit, you'd see the top of the orange on the tailgate. But when you step it off from the very back to the back of this line, what you can see, it's about 4 foot. So if I know if something's getting between the red and here, I'm about 4 feet away from hitting it. So anyway, I just leave that turned off, but it works pretty good. So we'll get into the rest of the video on mounting this and putting in the wiring down to the factory plug, so stay tuned. So I found a plug to solder the power of the camera onto, which is what we were looking for. I found, I went to my local Bobcat dealer and they had an old pigtail, so I just cut off the wires, stripped them, and then it had this one in there, so I just unpinned number A, since we're only using C and B for our key on power and then our ground here. So if you're looking to get one of these connectors, it is I think it's a number 12 if you're wanting to make the pins and use the connector that came off there. So now we're going to go back out there and we're just going to plug this right in. It's going to power up our camera. And also where I unpinned this one, I took the rubber boot and put back in there so it's sealed up. I'm going to put some conduit on this, tape it up good, then we'll go put it in. So for this mount, I've screwed, as you can see, those little Phillips screws. I've screwed this bracket to this piece. And to get this out, you just take these 2 bottom screws out. I took this out, made my bracket to where it comes all the way out to the edge, screwed it down, and then got the monitor right here. It's good and secured. Put this back on, screwed it down. I've ran the power cord back behind the display, zip tied it here, and then snake the wires in behind this wiring harness. I'm going to zip tie it off, and then we're going to work on getting it hooked in to our power supply here. Okay, so I got this harness made, and it is going to plug into here, the factory plug, and then this end is going to plug into there. I'm going to get some conduit for this and button this up. Now that it's kind of dark, you can see the infrared lights on the camera, and I'll show you guys what it looks like in the cab. So here's the inside view with it dark. You can see the trees behind me and the gravel driveway, and it's a pretty good picture at night when you're trying to see backing up. So if you're looking at putting a backup camera on your skid loader, hopefully this video kind of helped point you in the right direction. I know it wasn't a detailed install, but it's just kind of how I did it, and overall it's pretty easy. A little bit time consuming. I had to pull the seat out to get the trim off the side, that gray piece with the radio in it, and then you had to pull the pillar trim off, so it took a while getting that all pulled out. But anyway, if this video helps you out on putting in a camera, be sure to like it, and also I'll leave down in the description, I'll leave the link to Amazon. You can purchase this camera through my link. I'd appreciate it. It helps the channel out, and hopefully this video helped you, and we'll see you guys next time.